Let's be real, this NFL season hasn't been the most exciting. Most of your football team's seasons average at best. Not many people were checking for the wild card playoff games this weekend unless their team was in it or unless they had some kind of stake in the game. I was out all weekend. I went to a restaurant, they had the games on, nobody was paying any attention unless it was their team. So that was the vibe. But I still caught enough of the games to know who showed up, who folded, and who needs to go ahead and pray that their next season looks completely different. So if you're ready for a quick recap of what happened this weekend in the playoffs, let's get into it. Bills versus Jaguars. Let's start with Josh Allen. The league has already decided that this man has to win by any means necessary. With so many big-name quarterbacks already out, the NFL was looking around like, okay, where's the next storyline? And the answer was Josh Allen. All week it was, this is his moment. When is he gonna win? He cannot keep coming up short. For him, this just wasn't another wild card game. This was a career-defining moment. And the game itself, straight up Rocky movie. That fourth quarter, back and forth, tied, then tied again, then tied again, then tied again, then tied again, then tied again. That was the energy behind that game. It felt like Rocky Balboa versus everybody else. Nobody could pull away. It wasn't pretty football. It was fight football. Both teams kept swinging. Both teams kept answering. And every time you thought one side had it, man, the other side came right back. And then when it came down to it, when somebody had to just stop being cute and just take it, Josh Allen put his head down and ran it in for the clinch. And that's why the league is eating this up, because he didn't just win, he survived. And when the NFL is low on heroes, that is the kind of story they crown. Next up, Houston Texans versus Steelers. Now this was ugly. Houston absolutely embarrassed the Steelers. It was never close, was never dramatic. It wasn't even competitive. And by the second quarter, you could already tell, man, this is not about to be a football game. This game was a statement. And that statement was aimed directly at Mike Tomlin, because no matter how respected he is, no matter how polished his reputation may be, this is now 5 straight playoff losses tied for the longest streak in NFL history. So at some point, you got to stop saying he never had a losing season. And you got to start asking the question, but when was his last win? When was the last time it felt like progress? The Texans didn't just beat the Steelers. They exposed everything stale about that system. Outcoached, outplayed, outworked, outquarterbacked. Because let's not forget, Aaron Rodgers is still around. And you don't usually hear this said about men. So I'm going to tread lightly. But at 42 years old, is he too old to still be in that position? But not because of age alone, but because of his ability or lack thereof to still perform at that level. They tell women all the time that we are too old for this and we are too old for that. So just imagine a 42-year-old ballerina on a dance team full of 16-year-olds. The contrast is very clear. But somehow, Aaron Rodgers has managed to float through another season. Just a different team. Like somehow the rules don't apply. So is it time up for Tomlin and Rodgers? Again, great win by the Houston Texans. They absolutely destroyed the Steelers. Now let's get into the 49ers versus the Eagles. The Eagles just had one job, y'all. Just one. Just one job. Show us that they were not the same team that collapsed at the end of the regular season. That's all they had to do. But what did they do? They collapsed again. Now let's be clear. The 49ers didn't dominate. They just stayed patient. They waited, they played clean football, and we all watched the Eagles unravel in real time. Final score 23-19. But let's not act like this was some hard-fought game by Philly. The energy was flat, the execution was sloppy, the coaching, At some point, the Philly fans have to be saying, do we still have a Super Bowl caliber team? Because what we just watched, I didn't see any hunger. I didn't see any of that. If you a Philly fan, you gotta feel some type of way after you watch that game. I know you're not walking around singing, "Fly, Eagles, fly." All right, y'all, let's check out some of the highlights.
Absolutely horrible. I can't believe what just happened. The Niners stink. We should have beat them by a ton.
The Eagles suck.
Damn, man.
Terrible, bro.
Tough one. Bad.
Disappointing.
Big win for San Francisco. Now this game had drama all over it. The Bears versus Packers. This played out almost like a Cinderella script. This game was a roller coaster ride from start to finish. Chicago fell way behind very early. Green Bay came out swinging. The Packers had full control. This looked like it was about to get ugly fast. But then everything shifted. It was like, the clouds opened for the Bears. All of a sudden, the kicking game turned into a storyline. Packers kicker Brandon McManus missed 2 field goals and a PAT. Now, y'all, that is 7 points left on the field in a playoff game. And the Bears, they took full advantage. They chipped away, they made plays, and Green Bay did not close. Final score was 31-27. So here we go again. Another storyline where the Bears come back like a Cinderella story. We are the champions, my friends. Yes, we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. Yes, the Bears came back in dramatic form. Of course, everybody starts blaming the NFL. Of course, all of the conspiracy theories come out. Of course, because games like the Bears versus Packers this weekend makes you feel like the NFL wants their own perfect fairy tale ending. So kudos to the Bears for winning that game. I have no stake in the game. However, the Chicago Bears used to be one of my dad's favorite teams in the 80s when Walter Payton was there. So again, congratulations, Chicago. You guys are one of my favorite cities ever to visit. And so, hey, you got to get it how you get it. You got to get it how you live. Let's watch some of the highlights from their fairy tale.
How did you get this done?
You keep going, you keep going, you keep fighting. And when the clock hits 0, you'll look up and see who wins.
Now let's talk about the Rams versus the Panthers. This game was pure offense. Neither team backing down. One team scored, the other team answered every single time. Momentum never stuck around too long, and that clock just kept on ticking. But in the final stretch, the Rams got it done. Not because they were perfect, but because they executed. And the Rams, they're not one of my favorite teams at all, but they absolutely executed at the end when it mattered. The final score was 34-31. Woo! When I say it was one of the most exciting games of the weekend, baby, believe me, it absolutely was. A close game, a clean finish, and honestly, one of the most balanced matchups of the weekend. Maybe even the best one. Who would have thunk it? No controversy, no crazy calls, just good old-fashioned exciting, down to the last minute football. The Rams survived. The Panthers went home. Kudos to the Rams. All right, the Patriots versus the Chargers. Now, this was opposite of a shootout. No back and forth fireworks. No fluky misses. Just football, actually. Mostly defense. The Chargers came in with swag. High hopes, playmaker energy, everything that screams, we got this. And then the Patriots responded with, nope, nada, not today. The Patriots turned this game into a full shutdown. Final score, 16-3. 3 points. 1, 2, 3. 3 points. And that's when you know your defense is locked in and your offensive team is over there saying, thank you. Because if you wanted any points in this game, you had to work for every inch. The Patriots defense showed up, tackled, frustrated the Chargers, and made sure that nothing came easy. No flash, no drama, just straight up football, just straight up defense. And a playoff win the old-fashioned way. Patriots moved on. The Chargers went home. Let's watch some of their highlights.
Patriots versus Chargers, NFL wildcard. Everyone asking, did the Patriots win today? The New England Patriots defense shut down Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers. Rookie QB Drake May fires a touchdown to Hunter Henry. Final score, Patriots 16, Chargers 3.
And just like that, wild card weekend is a wrap. Some teams came to play, some fumbled the opportunity, and a few probably should have just stayed home. If you didn't watch the games, but now you're caught up, you're welcome. Before I go, let me leave you with this. The true test of a champion isn't how they start. It's how they respond when everything starts to fall apart. I'll talk to you soon, or I'll see you later, whichever one is first.